Hey guys, my name is Ismael Treviño and this is the Millennial Way show directly from Lisbon, Portugal at the Web Summit 2018. Our next guest is the creator of Furhat, the humanoid robot. His name is Samer Al-Moubayed. He is the co-founder and CEO of Furhat Robotics. This is the interview. Samer, thank you very much for being in the Millennial Way show.
Thanks for coming. My pleasure.
How you and your team came up with this idea of creating Furhat?
So we really come from our background is really trying to understand how we can create a machine in our own image. We think building a computer interface or a robot that looks like us could be an extremely useful technology for lots of areas. So we've done lots of research. Before we started the company, we come from academia. We have Ph.D.s in human communication, facial animation, dialogue systems, and all of these things came together to what we call the final frontier, which is to build a physical machine that has a body that can speak human language and can express emotions.
When you talk about the final frontier, I have seen that you mentioned a lot of in other interviews that you have talked about it, about this zombie effect. What is this zombie effect?
So the scientific name for that is the Uncanny Valley, which is this idea that when we build robots, as they become more human-like, at some point we become very uncomfortable with them. So if the more human-like the robot is, the more we like it, but at some point that becomes the opposite effect. So the more human-like it is, the more uncomfortable we are with it. This is called the Uncanny Valley. At some point, when it becomes really human-like, suddenly we become very comfortable with it. So a lot of robots that get designed that look like us, very human-like, but they don't behave like us. That's where the name zombie comes from. A zombie looks human but doesn't behave like human. You can't predict its behavior. Then you feel very uncomfortable with it. That similar effect is expected to happen with robots, that when it's very human-like, it will be very uncomfortable, but then at some point we will feel like it's a human. Before
we talk with our friend Furhat right here, we would like to know actually how Furhat works.
So Furhat is a back projected robot. So there's light, an animation, facial animation that's projected on the face. And the face is a three-dimensional mask, but it's cured with material that absorbs light. So when you look at it, you feel like the plastic is actually colored and it's moving. But using this animation, then the robot can express itself almost like a human. The lips move very accurately, the eyes move very fast, it has facial expressions, the eyebrows move, and then of course it's quiet, it doesn't break, it has 35 muscles, all controlled with the computer graphics. So that's how the face works. There are 3 degrees of freedom in the neck, so it can look up and down, but it can also show, be shy. There are like this. There is a camera in the robot that can track people, know where they are standing, how many people there are, where they are looking, and can analyze their faces. So you can know if a person is smiling or angry.
Who is buying these robots nowadays?
So the robot is, we run a business model called B2B, or business to business, which is, it's not a consumer product, but it's sold to either companies that want robots in their business, so a shopping mall or a clinic, or a school, university, or to developers or developer agencies that want to explore this area and build applications for Furhat. So like any developer that builds applications for virtual reality or for augmented reality or for the phone, we want these developers to learn this new area, conversational systems, and build applications.
You can tell prices. You can talk about prices at this moment.
Yeah,
how much is a Furhat?
Yeah, so we're shipping now since we launched at Web Summit 48 hours ago. There are 2 ways you can get your hands on a Furhat. If you're at a university or doing non-commercial development, a museum, a school, then you can buy the robot for 15,000 euros. If you're doing commercial work with it, then you get the robot as a service model. So you lease it per month, and as the robot is with you, we will support you, teach you how it works. It will give you upgrades for the software and for the hardware.
what's the next for Furhat? Are we going to see arms, legs, or
the next for
innovations?
Furhat is going to happen mainly in his brain, not in his body. But over the next couple of months, we're going to be announcing some amazing projects that we've been working on with some of the world's biggest companies. So you will start to see Furhat out in the world doing things. And then we're going to work during the next period on building a community of people, developers that build applications for Furhat, called the Furhat Creators Community.
Samer, how do you see the future of social robotics in the next 5 years?
So we come from Stockholm. We're companies based in Stockholm. We have this vision of getting 75% of the people in Stockholm to meet a robot within the next couple of years. This show is kind
75%
of
of the people with a
to meet a robot, not to own a robot, but to meet the robot, to get a service in one context or another. We think the technology is ready to deliver some applications already. So that's why we're launching. We will be launching some examples of that. But if we succeed at building this community, this Furhat Creators Community, then this could go very, very fast. We could have thousands of people very quickly building applications for the robot.
The ethical issue. What happened when the robots decided, not to follow the order of humans? That one of the ethical question that everybody is kind of, the mainstream is kind of scared.
This is an interesting conversation. It's still quite philosophical, but it's a very important conversation to have as we build this technology. The technology is quite far from that. I mean, today, if we don't have a very fast internet connection, the robot can't do much. So while we are discussing these very big, long-term philosophical challenges, we will still have to solve a lot of very simple practical issues just to get the robots to do anything useful. So, but having that conversation, discussing it, involving people from all walks of life in building regulations and ethical code of conducts for researchers and engineers building this will be very useful. And I think that's a good way to make sure that while we develop, we take this technology into a positive place.
Well, you and your team are an inspiration for plenty of our audience around the world. Which one will be that best advice to the new generation of engineers, creators, innovators to succeed as you and your team did it with Furhat? Please tell them.
We would want the world to fall in love with robots the same way, say the Macintosh made the world fall in love with a personal computer. We think it's a fascinating world. We've been imagining what robots will do over the last 100 years. We want to build a product that can sit in your hands, that can we want to give you tools that allow you to start working, developing, exploring this fascinating world. So if you're excited, just get going, start with it. It's an incredible technology that's also a lot of fun.
Well, guys, there you have it. Mr. Samer Al-Moubayed, the co-founder and CEO of Furhat from Furhat Robotics. Samer, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot for
we
coming.
really appreciate it.